Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vitvaram Vasudev Vasutam Devam Kamsa Chanuna Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. We are in chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita, and last week we did shlokas 8 and 9. And these shlokas are very important. They look very simple, but this becomes the backbone of the understanding of the art of employing knowledge at the level of action. And it is more so of an understanding behind all our actions. So what Bhagavan has said in shlokas 8 and 9, Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavita Pashyan, Shrunuman, Sprushan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwashan, Pralapan, Visrujan, Gruhnan, Unmishan, Nimishan Napi, Indriyan, Indriyartheshu, Vartanta iti dharayan. That as we engage in our activities, as we engage in the activities, daily activities, in fact, minuscule activities, not even great work, but simple activities over here, Pashyan, the seeing. Actually, we do this seeing ever since we wake up in the morning until we go to bed. We are continuously seeing. Shrunvan, we are continuously listening. Sprushan, we are continuously feeling all of these things. Sprushan, Jigran, smelling. Ashnan, eating. Gachan, going. Swapan, sleeping. Swashan, breathing. Pralapan, speaking. Visrujan, letting go. Gruhnan, grabbing. Unmishan and Nimishan, opening the eyes, closing the eyes. Over here, Bhagavan is saying that in these minuscule activities of our organs of perception and organs of action, which are continuously active, as long as we are in Jagrat Avastha, we are employing each one of these 10 senses. 5 of perception and 5 of action, and these senses would be rendered absolutely ineffective without the presence of awareness. It is this supreme awareness consciousness, this pure awareness, which lends its light of awareness to the intellect, and the intellect lights up, so to speak, the intellect, when it comes in close proximity of the awareness, the intellect expresses the knowledge aspect of consciousness, and it awares the thoughts that we are thinking. And the whole thought process and thinking is aware. And as it is aware, effortlessly, it passes on that awareness to the mind, and that mind adds an added layer of emotions and feelings, and that is passed on to the body as we are perceiving objects, feeling objects. And that is what Bhagavan is saying, that Indriyani, all these senses, Indriya Artheshu, the sense objects that they come in contact with, Vartanta iti dharayan. When each one of them, when they move about in the respective fields of the objects of the senses, dharayan, they are held over there throughout the entire experience of seeing, the starting of the seeing that we are doing, and that particular scene which comes to an end, and as we turn our gaze towards the other scene. Bhagavan is saying their entire process is so effortless. But in this effortless process of us daily having the senses bask in the world of sense objects and eke out sensory experiences, without this consciousness, it would not be possible. Without the presence of awareness, none of our senses would function. Why is Bhagavan saying this? For us to realize that in all our actions, the actual catalyst behind all experiences is Bhagavan. Without Bhagavan being the catalyst of activating the sense, no sense perception would be possible. Not only does consciousness activate the senses, but the consciousness also pervades the sense objects and makes the sense objects available for the senses. And thus Bhagavan over here says that Naiva Kinchit Karomiti. The one who understands this process realizes, oh my God, I don't do anything. In fact, I have no power to do anything. Each one of us, you and I, are nothing but we are the recipients of a great blessing that we have been bestowed upon, namely this equipment. We are the recipient of a true gift. And the man of wisdom realizes that I am blessed to have this. And I have done nothing to earn this. In fact, I have been bestowed this gift. Yuktaha. Yuktaha over here. Sankhya yogena jnanena yuktaha. With this knowledge, the person abides in this knowledge. Such a person understands that I have been a recipient of this gift. Yukto manyeta tattvavita, the knower of the self. Tattvam janati, the one who knows the higher, realizes, I am blessed and I don't do anything. because it is the consciousness that enlivens the intellect, which enlivens the mind, which enlivens the senses, and which enlivens the world of objects. And all I'm doing is, in this process, I have harnessed some experience. The experience has arrived to me, and in there was no hand of mine which produced this experience. Such a person, humbled by this entire process by which the world is revealed to us, such a person remains calm and observes the play, and that man, that woman, the one who has understood this, basks in the glory of awareness and tries to merge into this awareness, realizing that we in fact don't do anything. Naiva kinchit karo ahamiti. Karomi or aham karomi. I don't do anything. Naiva kinchit karomi. I do not do anything. It is this indriyani indriya artheshu vartanta iti dharayan. The senses, when they move about in the world of sense objects, all this, the catalyst is your divinity. And such a person, in every waking moment, in all actions, is reminded of the presence of divinity. And such a person who remains in the presence of awareness in every waking moment, such a person in Shastra is referred to as self-realized soul. They have been awakened to the inner self. And such a person's story now is talked about from shloka number 10 onwards. The knower of the truth over here is talked about, but what should be the attitude of a man who is not a knower of the truth? What should a person do while engaging in the action? So what they should do is, whatever the man of wisdom does, that is what is to be practiced by you and I to realize. So we start from shloka 10. Brahmanyadhyaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate na sapapena padmapatramivambasa. So this shloka now is an advice to a person who is not a knower of the truth. But what this shloka says, what Bhagavan Krishna says through this shloka is, Arjuna, the man of wisdom is ever awakened. And when they are awakened, they are not tormented by any desires or any thoughts. For all the thoughts have come to an end. All the desires have been depleted. So, for a spiritual sadhak, what they should do is they should act, or they should put effort to walk away from the attachments. The desires which bind, try to declutch from them, and instead of binding to the desires, try to bind to pure awareness. So over here, what is saying? Yaha sangam tyaktva. Yaha over here means a spiritual aspirant, a person who wishes to climb the ladder of spirituality. What should they do? Sangam tyaktva. What is sangam? Sangam is attachment. But what is meant over here is wherever the mind dwells is called sangam. In India, the confluence of two rivers is called sangam. You know, we have the sangam of Ganga and Yamuna. We have sangam of Alakananda and Bhagirathi. In English, it is called confluence. The confluence of two rivers. And the two rivers become one. So the sangam is the union of two things is called sangam. So what are the two things? The object of desire and the mind are united. These two are united. It is always, if it is a mother, then the mother is united by the thought of her son or the thought of her daughter. So the union of the mother with the thought of her son becomes the preoccupation of that mind now. Now the mom is thinking about her son. Oh, my son has gone to college. This Delta variant is rising. I hope he's wearing a mask. I hope he doesn't go to the parties. So that union of the one thought of mother and the mother's worry of the son creates 1,000 other thoughts. The ripple effect of sangam is it creates so many other waves. So Bhagavan is saying, when you renounce the sangam, the rippling waves which is created automatically are released, and when they are released, all of a sudden that mind becomes calm. So, yaha sangam tyaktva, having given up this sangam, brahmani adhaya. Brahmani adhaya. Now, see, the mind always has to be united with something. If the mother renounces the thought of her son or her daughter, then she has to think about something. So now Bhagavan is saying, having renounced the sangam, now you positively create another sangam. What sangam? Brahmani adhaya. Now you consciously take the mind to the divinity called Brahman. And over here, Brahman means Saguna Ishwar, because mind is involved. So, Ishwara, the Lord, with qualities, Saguna, with form, Sakara, Saguna, along with the form and along with the qualities, that mind can think about it. Now, if the mind is thinking about the thought of Rama, now the rippling will be the thought of the story of Rama. Oh, yes, Lord Rama. Oh, he also, because the mom was thinking about the son going to college now. Oh, Rama also went to his guru, Vashishta, and he learned with Vashishta. Vashishta sends him to Vishwamitra, and Vishwamitra came and took them, went to the forest. See, now the story of Lord Rama has taken on. The difference between the story of Lord Rama and the story of her son or daughter is, the story of Rama will not create anxiety. But the more we think about our own kith and kin, it creates more anxiety. Because of the circumstances which are beyond our control, and we become nervous. Oh my God, what if? Oh my God, what if this happens? Oh my God. So naturally worry arrives. But with Rama's story, we already know the outcome. There is no anxiety. So the mind remains calm. Thus Bhagavan says, Brahmani adhaya, and when mind is calm, and when a person does an action with a calm mind, the outcome of that action is much better than the action done with worries. Because when we do any action with worries and anxieties, chances are we will make mistakes. And that action will not bear proper fruit. Thus, over here, to remove the anxiety of the mind, to remove the agitation of the mind, and to lead mind to a holistic, safe place, over here, Brahmani adhaya karmani karoti sangam tyaktva lipyate na sa papena. To such a person, they will not be affected by any papa. Now, what is meant by papa? Over here, what is meant by papa karma, is actions which give contrary results. That's all. When we do actions with worries and anxieties, actions are not proper and they will have side effects. And what are the side effects? The side effects are, it creates bondage. Because we have not done our duty in fulfilling an action. So such an action creates a side effect of bandhan. And that bandhan is referred to as karmic debt. Over here, vasanamaya kosha. That action now adds to the bank balance of sanchit karma. But when the mind with the awareness of Bhagavan and calmly such a person has done an action, that action will not bear fruits of creating more desires. In fact, the actions will, all desires will fall off because the actions are done properly. So this particular chapter is Jnana Karma Sannyas. With knowledge, we approach an action. This chapter is a brilliant chapter which allows us to alter our destiny. Through understanding, we have changed our destiny. When we do what we are supposed to do, and when we cast off our worries, our anxieties, what happens is the free mind, the light mind, the divine mind, the integrated mind, now when it engages action, when it engages in action, it has no ulterior motives. It has done its duty. And because Bhagavan's name was taken, further, if it happens, good. If it doesn't happen, good. So we are truly freed from the bondage of action. So the fruit can never ever come to bind us, because we have The internal prayer is, oh Lord, for you I have done it. It is not for any gains. Even one's own career, when we approach this way, oh Lord, I offer this career to your feet. Allow me to be the best doctor, engineer, lawyer, teacher, whatever one is. With the understanding, if we approach action, that action is as good as thousands of prayers done. Thousands of prayers. Because the action is done with awareness. We have invoked consciousness, which itself is Rama, which itself is Krishna, which itself is Shiva. Whatever we want to call, that divinity is invoked. And in the presence of that divinity, it is offered to the divinity. What can the divinity do with the fruit of that action? Except the divinity will turn around and bless. No bondage can come out of it. This is what Bhagavan Krishna is saying, that with knowledge, we can change the outcome of an action. Thus, knowledge is superior to action. Action depends upon the quality and the texture of a desire or a motive. But consciousness does not depend upon any motive. It is motiveless. It is ever free. It is ever divine. Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupaha. So such a divine action, when it is unleashed, only good can come out of it. Thus Bhagavan says, Lipyate na sapapena. Padma Patra iva ambasa. Ambasa in the waters, Padma Patra, the lotus leaf, which is born out of filthy water, sustained by filthy water, lives in the filthy water, but yet not even one drop of filthy water can touch that lotus leaf. The lotus leaf spreads on the surface of the lake. Underneath it is dirty water. But let's say a frog jumps and makes a wave in that filthy lake, and few drops of water falls onto the lotus leaf. They will turn into round beads like pearls, and they will dance on the leaf only to fall off. Because the lotus plant is very smart. It has created a layer of wax on the top and on the bottom of the leaf, so the leaf will never get wet and it remains in the water. In the same way, Bhagavan is saying, if you create a wax of knowledge and smear it over your mind, no papa or no sanchit karma can touch you. Thus, Bhagavan gives an example over here, Padma Patra iva ambasa. This is what Bhagavan is saying, that karma phala of punya and papa, they will not touch. Because the mind soars in the high altitude of Ishwar Smriti, remembrance of divinity. I remember, I wake up in the morning, I sit quietly for a few minutes, and then I come to the kitchen and I make some tea, and I say some prayers. Every day, just different mantra from different Upanishad, whatever comes to my mind, and I repeat. And I've noticed throughout the day, whatever activities I do, that first thought of the morning, which I consciously implanted in my mind, it becomes the bedrock of the thought pattern of the entire day. Like today, I started my day by listening to Bhaja Govindam. And in my mind background, what is running, Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhaktah Samsarad Achirad Bhava Muktah Sendriya Manas Niyamadeva Drakshasi Nija Hrudayastam Devam. In fact, it was so powerful, I stopped and I even pulled out Bhaj Govindam book and I read up on that shloka, and that it is right now some 5 o'clock and my mind is still running and I'm saved from 1,000 worries of the day. We can do this. So many things are going on. I do it. I went and I did Naivedyam and Puja in the temple. In the middle of Puja, this shloka came. And then I closed my eyes. I was supposed to do Puja and I tended to this shloka. And I thought about it. I said, 1,000 years ago, oh mother, your son, Shankaracharya ji, composed this. The one who has surrendered their mind to the teachings of their guru. Samsarat achirat bhava muktaha. Such a person is liberated from this. Drakshasi nija hridayastam devam. And such a person sees Bhagavan in their own heart. And then I told mother in my own conversations with her that the whole point of doing this puja to you is to remember you. But this effortless remembrance has come as the one who sees in their own heart their own devata. And mother, I'm already seeing you. So why am I going to complete the puja? I don't need to even complete the puja because you are there. The fruit of the puja has arrived before the puja is over. Complicated conversation I had with her. This is called Nididhyasan. And I just sat over there and I just said, mother, eat this. I am eating your thoughts. This is my Naivedyam that you have given me. That's why I can understand why at times Sri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa, instead of putting flowers to Mother Kali, he would take the flowers, put it on his head, because the remembrance of Kali is in here. The outside Kali has now arrived inside and he's dancing with joy. Which Kali do I see? The one on the outside as a stone statue, or the one who is playing in my mind, who's not even leaving my mind? I'm telling her, go, I need to sleep. Please go away, Mother Kali. She's not going. How will I sleep, mother, if you don't go? Such conversations are there in his Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. That is Drakshasi Nija Hridayastam Devam. But we have to start out with Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta. Whatever the teacher has taught, to hold on to that teaching. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. This is what Bhagavan is saying. Once this layer of wax has been applied on our buddhi, on our man, if somebody falls sick, they will fall sick. What can we do? If somebody doesn't want to take vaccine, બે હાથ જોડીને માથું નમાવ, કર જે કરવું હોય. That's all we can do. We cannot get irritated because somebody else is not behaving properly. then we will throw out our own peace of mind. And my peace of mind is the most important to me, not to the world. This allows us to live in this world properly, doing our duties, not renouncing our own work, but at the same time having a healthy understanding of the pluralistic world will dance to the tunes of the universal and the individual vasanas. But my vasanas, I can have an upper hand over it by relinquishing my mind's ability to effortlessly adhere to thoughts. Instead of all different thoughts, why don't I bind my mind to proper thoughts? That is sangam tyaktva yah karma karoti brahmani adhaya saha na lipyate papena padmapatraivam vasa. Such a person is freed here and now. Harina janato mukti na mange, mange janamo janama avatarare. Narasimha says, the one who has understood this, you give me as many births. What does it matter to me? Krishna is already there in my mind. Bhakti cheni dasi. That poor bhakti has to arrive over there. Why? Because I have created with my own power of mind, my mind's adherence with Krishna. And without bhakti, that adherence couldn't happen. So that bhakti becomes dasi. This, it takes a while, but it can be done. It can be done. Whenever we are seated, just, randomly going through some YouTube videos, some WhatsApp messages, put that phone down and think about it. What am I doing? Who should I remember? This is nididhyasana. This is how knowledge enters our actions. Men of wisdom, their actions never go in vain because the action is pervaded by consciousness. Our Gurudev was one such person. Whatever came out of his mouth had to be true. Consciousness is there. It is all done by the free will of the mind adhering to the Krishna consciousness within. Continuing. Kaye namanasa buddhya kevalairindrirayapi yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktvatma shuddhaye. Kayena manasa buddhya. Kayena sharirena, by body. Manasa, by mind. Buddhya, by buddhi. So the whole equipment is taken. Action done at the level of the body, at the level of mind, at the level of intellect. Action at the level of intellect is the drudata of the thought. Action done at the level of the mind is the masala of emotions that we add to the desire. And the action at the level of the body is the indriya which goes and chases the sense object. So at all three levels, action is there. That kayena, which is karma, manasa, sankalpa, the sankalpa which mind takes, no, I am going to do this. No, I am not going to do this. That is at the level of mind. Buddhya, Nishchayatmika buddhi, with firm resolve, the intellect says, go this path and renounce this. So that Nishchayatmika buddhi, when it says that only this should be done, such a Nishchayatmika buddhi, the Sankalpa Vikalpatmaka Manaha, the mind which is a seat of oscillation, should I do this, should I not do this, comes to a firm Sankalpa, yes, I'm going to do it. And by the Indriya, karma actually happens. Kevalaihi Indrirairapi, by these senses alone, yoginaha karma kurvanti. The yogi, the man of proper understanding over here, the man of knowledge is referred to as yogi. He has not yet realized Bhagavan. He's in process of realizing Bhagavan, but he makes an attempt to yoke himself or align himself with the proper thought pattern of I am awareness, I am awareness. With one's own will, he remembers that Bhagavan is the root of everything. That yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva, giving up all attachment, giving up all weaknesses towards different types of objects and people and situations, all arising because of deep-rooted tendencies. All that is renounced, the tendencies which allows that mind effortlessly to watch a particular type of movie or listen to a particular genre of music or to eat a particular type of food. These idiosyncrasies which surround us, which we may not even know. But a man of wisdom observes. How am I eating? How am I sitting? What am I doing? Alert mind. It is not a dead mind. That is called Sangam Tyaktva. Atma Shuddhaye, for the purity of mind and intellect. 99.99999% of the people on this planet run on autopilot zone of mind. You know, desires run us and we don't even realize we've been taken for a chase by desires. It becomes too late. So, when we are alert behind the, just like, when we are driving extremely fast, we are behind the wheel and great attention is required. An eye is scanning not only the cars around, but even in the back, in the rear view mirror. A good driver keeps the eyes rotating and goes forward. Such a person is an alert driver. And thus, we say that, drunk driving, because it robs off of our alertness. So that alertness in living every moment as though it is the moment of my life. Such a person, Bhagavan refers to as a awakened person, self-realized soul. Bhagavan says, for a spiritual aspirant, they should invite those types of qualities in living. And thus he's saying Sangam Tyaktva, consciously disassociate with the desires that torment us and torture us. Why? Atma Shuddhaye, for the purification of the inner equipment. What is the inner equipment? Mind and the intellect. Typically, mind and the intellect are pressured by desires. But if we are alert and said, no, I am not going to allow myself to be treated ill by my own dark tendencies, which I have inherited from innumerable past births, I'm going to be alert. Such a person, karma kurvanti, does action. It's not that they just sit and meditate 24 hours a day. Even if we tried to meditate 24 hours a day, we could not meditate. So Bhagavan over here does not prescribe meditation. He prescribes action, but alertness in action is what he's prescribing. Kevalaihi indriyaihi api. Exclusively by the senses. And what are the senses talked about? Kayena, manasa, buddhya, all of these contribute to action. And when that is done, Bhagavan says, such a person in no time will become very alert. Please don't think that a man of wisdom has gotten rid of all vasanas, all desires. Desires will never be removed. You may have seen these big tanks that cities have, and they always fill the tank from the top, but then they drain the tank from the bottom because the gravity pushes the water down. But that drainage is little bit above. But if they want to clean the tank, there is another valve even below it. And when they open that, the whole tank empties. So then they can go and refurbish the whole tank on the inside. Imagine our vasanas is that giant tank. We don't have the lower valve to drain it. We only have the top one to fill it and the bottom one to remove. That is called prarabdha. And we've already removed at the time of our birth. So whatever we have removed, and now that this knowledge is taking place, all sorts of things will happen in our life, but we should do our best not to get perturbed. That includes the speaker, me. I also get disturbed. And I also have to sometimes vent it out with Prakash or, whoever it may be. And I have to remind myself, what are you doing? Because this evolution, it is a process. It takes a while. Gurudev used to say, spirituality is not a revolution. It is an evolution. It takes a while. But once we are on this path and we understand the process, this process is extremely scientific. That is what I love about Hinduism and Vedanta. It is a time-tested, proven method to work. That's why Gurudev, with this trilogy of those books, is called Vedanta, the Science of Life. He calls it science. He says this science is the science of all sciences. In chemistry and physics and mathematics, they will have a postulate and theorem only for somebody else to come later down in the annals of time to disprove it. But once realize, who's going to disprove the fact that you realize? The one who has realized, yapashyati sapashyati, the one who knows, knows. So this is, Bhagavan is giving a methodology to remain in awareness while engaging in action. Why? Atma Vishuddhaye. Atma Shuddhaye. For purifying. Why purifying? Because the more we purify, the easier it is for us to remain in awareness. That is why. The subtler the mind gets, the subtler the intellect gets, even if we digress, we will make ourselves come back. We will catch ourselves and bring ourselves back. Continuing, Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantimapnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibadyate. Now, one thing in doing action is our desires. One motive in doing our actions is desires. The second motive behind actions is, I want a gain from that action. And that gain is called karma phala. So Bhagavan in the last two shlokas, he says, Sangam tyaktva. You renounce your attachment to the desire. Now in this shloka, he's saying, karma phala tyaktva. He's attacking action from two ends, the source and the outcome. Some people are attached to outcome. Some people are attached to the beginning. Bhagavan says you have to snip it on both ends. See how scientific Bhagavan is in his teaching. Just wonder of wonder is Bhagavad Gita. It's the anatomy of a desire and an anatomy of a human mind. Bhagavan has just nailed it perfectly. Now he's saying, Karma Yoginaha, such a person who wishes to realize, Yuktaha, the one who is integrated, the one who invokes the blessings of awareness, consciousness upon engaging in action, such a person, karma phalam tyaktva, the one who renounces now the outcome. We get nervous. We get anxious. Oh my God, what if I don't pass my exam? Oh my God, what if I fail my interview? For some people, it is not, what if I fail my interview? And they are so good in talking, they say, I'm going to nail this interview. Even before the interview, they say, oh, I'm going to nail it. There's so much self-confidence. But in that self-confidence is ahankar. So that ahankar rides on the desire and makes that person fall. There's no humility. So there is no surrender to Bhagavan, that this equipment is given by Bhagavan and this equipment of Bhagavan is giving the interview, not that I'm always good in interviews. But then the other one only imagines failure. Oh, up to now, 4 interviews I've given. Right words don't come to my mouth. What can I do? This goddess Saraswati, she may be sitting on others' tongue, but she's not there on my tongue when it is required. So self-loathing. That is also a problem. Why self-loathe if this equipment itself is given by Bhagavan? So Bhagavan is now attacking weaknesses to karma phala. And such a person, karma phalam tyaktva, the one who doesn't imagine, and the one who gets caught up in drawing pictures of tomorrow today, and the one who forgets to live life today, Bhagavan is addressing such a person. શેખ ચલ્લીના વિચારોમાં ખોવાઈ ગયું જીવન. That is what Bhagavan is saying, that karma phalam tyaktva, the one who imagines the fruits of the action, but the action itself is not done, then how can the fruit arrive? So Bhagavan is now saying, give up all these projections, bring mind where it is required in this action, and gather yourself and say, it is a divine equipment blessed to me. It is his blessings that I have it, and I'm going to put the best foot forward. Such a person, what happens? Naishtikim shantim apnoti. Such a person attains not just little bit of peace. Naishtikim shantim, just stillness of mind and peace of mind. What kind of peace of mind? Eternal and everlasting peace. When the fruits of the actions are renounced, because there is no desire to enjoy tomorrow. Today alone is. And if today alone is, ek karni andar anant aayi gayu. In this moment, infinitude has arrived. That is naishtikim shanti. But on the other hand, ayuktaha, the one who is not integrated, kamakarena, because of the action, because of the desires, phale saktaha, and tormented by the projections of what I am going to do with the attainment of the fruits, nibadyate. Such a person not only badyate, nibadyate, nishchayena badyate, for sure they will be bound. We will continue next week. The fantastic shlokas Bhagavan is rendering to abide in action with proper attitude. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste.
Thank you, Swamiji.